Hey guys, welcome to the channel. I'm Sheen, your host. This is Money Matters. Today we're going to talk about a pretty tragic story that came out last week about a investor. His name is Alexander Carnes, and apparently he's a 20-year-old investor that was investing in the Robinhood app, and due to some reason that is not 100% clear, he committed suicide, thinking that he lost roughly $700,000. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about what I think about the whole story, and what he was doing that was putting his account in such jeopardy, and talking about margins that he may have had, and like the options that he was doing. Guys, if you like what I'm doing, consider subscribing and give a thumbs up. It really helps out the channel, helps push my videos to other people, helps me grow the channel. All right, guys, let's get started. So this person's name is Alexander Carnes. He was a 20-year-old college student. He was back from college living at home. And so he started basically investing with Robinhood. Robinhood is super popular with a lot of millennials and younger investors. I personally have a Robinhood account. It's not my main account. Pretty much I use Robinhood only for options trading. From what I've experienced, I think Robinhood, at least for the options trading, is more transparent. But apparently in this case, this person was doing some really more complicated options, and he just didn't fully understand what was going on. But for me, for at least I don't think I do too complicated options. I have other videos that I showed you guys what I do with options. Basically, I only ever did 3 options trade. 2 of them were selling put options. I did 2 sell of put options, and 1 long call option, and that's Spotify. I just did a video about that, my call option on Spotify. So that's pretty much the only options I do. I do not do any margins, any margin trading at all. I made a big mistake when I first started investing. Similar with this person, I didn't even realize I opened a margin account. It was on my Fidelity account. I was only wanting to open an options account, and I didn't want any margins. But I may have clicked something wrong or didn't read something, and it actually opened the margins account. And at the time, I was okay with the margin account being open. I just figured that I would only use the margin if I had to. And basically, long story short, I did not understand how margin account works at all, and I was actually trading on margin without really knowing and realizing how much margin I was using. I was trading on margin for probably a couple of weeks before I realized what was going on, and I called Fidelity, and I told them I don't want the margin account, please close it. And I had a balance because I was using their margin, so I had to pay that margin off and then close that margin account. And luckily, it was not really a negative effect. I didn't lose anything. I didn't get any margin calls or anything like that. But for me, basically when you're using margin, you're borrowing money. You're borrowing money from your broker to do trades, do transactions, and I just don't like it. I like everything that I do is money that I have and money that I could cover myself with. I don't want to borrow any money and then pay interest on it, and it's just not something I'm comfortable with. So on all of my accounts, I do nothing with margin. But so this person basically, he had a margin account, and he was apparently, based on what he said, so it reads, quote, this was in his letter that was found on his computer. He wrote, quote, how was a 20-year-old with no income able to get assigned almost $1 million worth of leverage? And so basically that's $1 million worth of margin. So he didn't have $1 million, but he could still buy $1 million worth of options or stocks or anything. And so basically you're borrowing $1 million from your broker to do trades. And if your trades go positive, then that's great. Everyone's good. But they go negative, and your broker is going to want that money back. And if you don't have that that money in your bank account to cover, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. You're going to be out the $1 million, and then you're going to be charged interest on every day that you're not paying back this margin. So it's unclear about if he actually did have $1 million worth of leverage, or how that happened, or I'm not sure how it happened. I'm not sure how he was able to get $1 million worth of leverage, because I know when I signed up for my options account, it does ask you, number one, at least for Robinhood, do you want an options account with margin or without margin? And to get a high level of margin leverage, you have to answer a lot of questions and go through a lot of prompts. So it's not like something that you could just accidentally click. So I'm not exactly sure how it happened, but Robinhood has came out and said that they are making changes to their options trading assignments and in how they approve options trading. So here's a little bit into the article. So Carnes apparently fell into despair late Thursday night after looking at his Robinhood account, which appeared to have $16,000 in it, but also showed a cash balance of negative $730,000. In his final note, seen by Forbes, Carnes insisted that he never authorized margin trading and was shocked to find his small account could rack up such an apparent loss. And so here's actually a screenshot of, apparently this is the screenshot of his account, and there it is. It's showing cash at negative 730,000. And buying power again, negative 730,000. And so, the most tragic thing about this is that it was just a temporary negative 730,000 balance. So things have to clear the account, whatever options he was doing. If he was forced to buy some stocks, so if he was selling put options and the options trade didn't go his way, and apparently this is what the article said, is he had put options that he sold, and apparently the trade didn't go his way, and he was forced to buy these stocks because he sold the options on it. And so when his account was forced to buy these stocks, it would show negative 730,000 if that's how much he had to buy. But when these stocks actually go into his account and clear his account, that's negative 730,000 would not be that anymore. It would be whatever the balance that comes in, whatever stocks that he was had to purchase that would hit his account. And it might have been negative, but it probably wouldn't have been negative 730,000. Just if you're forced to buy stocks, once it hits your account, your account is going to recalibrate or something, recalibrate to show the stocks coming in, and that negative balance will not be the same balance anymore. So it was likely that in a couple of days his count would have changed and would have showed his actual balance, and according to this article, it probably was not going to be negative 730,000. It would have been some other number, not that dramatic. And so that's the most tragic part about it, is like apparently he committed suicide because he thought he lost 730,000, and that apparently is not true. If he would have waited a few days, or I don't know, maybe even contacted Robinhood. I've contacted Robinhood on the app before, and I think it took maybe 1 day, maybe 2 days at the most to get a response. Unfortunately, they don't have great customer service like Fidelity has. Fidelity, I call, I could get someone in a line usually within 5 to 10 minutes. But I don't know if he actually did reach out to Robinhood or what was the deal. But really tragic situation. Thinking that you lost that much money and you committed suicide. It's just money. Money can be earned, money can be lost. I don't know what, maybe there was something else going on in his life, who knows, but it's just a tragic situation. And that kind of leads me to talk about this whole kind of culture that's going on with these free trading platforms. Everybody pretty much now, Fidelity, commission free trading, TD Ameritrade, E-Trade, Scottrade, pretty much every single brokerage out there is pretty much free trading. And so a lot of people are getting into this, getting into this game and are doing trades and doing trades that they don't know anything about. And I'm personally guilty of that also. When I first started, like I said, I accidentally had a margin account and I didn't even know about it. And so a lot of these brokerages, they don't fully explain, or if they do, it's like a huge long PDF file or a huge long thing that you're supposed to read, and who actually reads those things? I personally, I didn't read it. And so you get into these accounts and you don't know what you're doing, and you make these trades, and you learn later that something that you weren't expecting. So that's the story, guys. Sorry for the kind of like sad video today, but I just kind of understood this story because it happened to me also. Like I said, I was trading on a margin account and I didn't know about it. So my recommendation to beginner traders is don't even think about trading in a margins account. And if you're doing options, make sure that your options have no margin account in it. Stay away from margin for sure until you know exactly what you're doing. And even still, if you know exactly what you're doing, like I said, when you're trading with margin, you're actually borrowing money, and borrowing money is never free. So if trades don't go your way on borrowed money, you could lose all that money and have to pay interest on top of it. So guys, that's the video for today. Consider subscribing, give me a thumbs up if you found any value in this video. Consider subscribing. Catch you in the next one. Peace.